So the big takeaway here is everybody asks, and their biggest bitch on Instagram is how to grow and how to get engagement and how to just be seen on Instagram, considering that it's so hard anymore right now not to grow on Instagram. And I feel it too. And basically what I've been doing is I've been on Instagram for like 12 years, and I've been making content for, let's say I've been seriously making content for the past 5 or 6 years. But I haven't really been diving deep into those numbers that I mentioned before until maybe like 2 years ago. And been studying other people, studying other creators, just actually kind of looking into it more. So the biggest takeaway is like how to grow. And everybody can say, you got to do this, you got to do that, buy my course, bullshit this or bullshit that, or follow, you got to break down the algorithm or all that stuff. All that stuff at the end of the day is just bullshit. The most important thing that you need to do is just make content that your followers want to share. That's literally it. You're going to get the most engagement, and Instagram is going to push your stuff if you make content that your audience and your already current followers want to share. Because what Instagram does is if you post a reel on Instagram, and let's say you have 1,000 followers, if nobody shares it, Instagram's going to go, well, that's a dud. I'm not going to show it to anybody else. But if you have 1,000 followers and let's say you get 20 shares off that, that's going to tell Instagram, hey, his followers like this, so I'm going to show it to other people. And if those other people that mirror his audience, they start to share it, then I'm going to show other people. And it just goes on and on and on. And that's how you get viral reels. And that's how somebody with 5,000, 2,000, 1,200 followers could possibly have a viral reel on their page. And that's just because that's how it happens. There's no tricks as far as to break the algorithm. There's things that you can do, for example, that I've done with these 2 reels. And I'm going to talk about that during this video. So I don't know if I've done it before already because I'm editing. I haven't done this yet. But I'm going to break these reels down and I'm going to show you what I did and what I've learned to be able to achieve these numbers and do what I'm doing. The most important things are you have to get engagement off the bat, and you have to engage your current audience. So you have to nurture to them and kind of figure out what they want from you, because once they see that and they share it, it just goes from there. So a lot of takeaways with content right now, especially with Instagram Reels, is if you kind of treat it like YouTube with your cover photos. I mean, the cover photos have to be engaging as well. There's just so many things that need to be on point for everything to work. Like, for example, Instagram's doing this thing where they keep track of how long your audience watches. So if you could get past the 3-second mark into the 6, anything past an average watch rate of 3 to 6 seconds is good, because that shows Instagram that your audience is engaged and they're watching the reel. This reel that I have, the average watch rate went into 10, 11 seconds. So that's like really good. And what I try to do is every 3 seconds have another hook and another hook or a camera angle change. The second the viewer may lose interest, something changes and they look and it keeps them hooked. This other reel that I have going on right now that I just posted that's doing really well, I did the countdown trick. So I list 5 things that I would never do as a content creator. And I put the 5 things on there, but I purposely skipped number 2. I mean, that was just an engagement hook. So what people did is they realized that step 2 was missing. So they watched it 2-3 times to see if they missed it. And they didn't miss it. I just didn't include it. But having a countdown in your reel, the audience watches almost the entirety of the reel because they want to see that countdown. What I want to do is break down this one reel that I've been talking about in this video. I'm just going to play this now and I'm going to talk about it. Pretty loud.
Welcome to Photography for Beginners. Step 1. Easily remove the lens cap. Now that the lens cap is off, locate the power switch and make sure your camera is on.
So with this reel, what I did is right off the bat, I have a caption at the top. And I'm a photographer, so a lot of my followers are photographers or they are interested in photography content. So what I did is I have the caption at the top and it plays. And like I said, every 3 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds, caption changes, it goes to the bottom. So that was a change of movement that the viewer's eye had to read and look down. It's like a form of a hook. Put my headphone in and the audio changes. And now we have different audio, which is a voiceover that I created using Artlist, using their AI voiceover. So now it's a whole different story. So the viewers are still watching. Step 1, easily remove the lens cap. Lens caps are easy to remove, and I just struggle removing it in this reel. Now, what I also did is in this voiceover, I continued the photography help in the headphones to continue going on, but I'm still stuck on taking the lens caps off. It just works. It's like that reel is just working. And that audio that I have is audio that I made. Nobody's ever heard that audio before. That audio did not exist until I just created it and threw it on Instagram. And I know sometimes, or a lot of the time, with the content that I create is usually pretty original, and I try not to follow trends or really copy off of what's popping off at the moment. I try to take my ideas or something that inspires me and twist it into something else. So let's go to the other reel that I posted today that I told you about, the 5 things. So this is the one that I did, 5 things I will never do. And this whole reel is littered with hooks and stuff to keep you engaged. We'll talk about that now. Here are 5 things I'm never going to do as a content creator. So right off the bat, 5 things I will never do as a content creator. If a lot of my followers are content creators or photographers, they probably can relate to this. And right off the bat, 3 seconds, I walk off camera. 1, and then I use the walking off camera to come back on as a transition into the next scene. Keeps a person engaged. I'm not going to have a really long caption to make you comment something to try to sell you a course. 3. And I skip right to 3. Now, to be honest, that was a mistake. I filmed the video too quick and I was editing it and I sent it to a buddy and he goes, "Where's number 2?" And I said, "Fuck, I forgot to put it in." And I send it to 4 or 5 other my buddies and they go, "Leave it out. That's funny and that's going to create engagement," which it did. It worked. So it was a mistake, but now I'm learning from that. That's something that I learned. So maybe you can learn from my mistakes. This is another trick right here. I'm looking up at the lens, which is like a different point of view that you don't really see often. You usually see this or like talking heads or somebody sets up a tripod and they're sitting away. So this worked as well for engagement. It just kept people's attention because it's an angle and a view that they don't really see that often. 4, I'm not going to promote some bullshit product just for a couple extra bucks, especially something I don't use. Now, step 4 is also another hook and also a form of engagement to keep people interested. Because I have a makeup mask on. What is that called? A lotion mask or whatever. As soon as you see that, you're hooked again because you're like, what the fuck is that? What is that? Here comes another hook. I take it off, boom, slam it on the mirror. That's another hook because it's kind of funny. That slap sound keeps people engaged. Stepping away and walking towards the camera works for some reason. Also using your iPhone as a form of a microphone because you're holding something, it makes it seem more real and genuine. I don't know why, but it works. I have an arrow pointing down to read the caption, and I have a long caption. That reel right there, I just posted not too long ago. I have 4,000 views on it right now, and it's brought in 15 followers, but I wasn't preparing or planning on this reel to blow up. My whole test with that reel was to see how long I could keep people engaged, and people viewed and engaged the entire length of that reel. All the hooks and everything I put in that reel, the camera angle changes, the noises, the questions, the countdown, the messing stuff up with the long caption, it just all worked. I mean, it's a pretty good formula to follow. And I don't know if it translates to everybody or everybody's pieces of content, but I mean, it just worked. And it worked for me, and it's been working for my past 2 reels. And I've been taking my reels and using that same formula and posting them on YouTube as YouTube Shorts. And all this YouTube stuff is very new to me as of like 4 months ago. And I'm just taking these tactics and things I know from Instagram, and I'm putting them over to YouTube, and it seems to be working. So at the end of the day, just put yourself in the viewer's point of view, like like a marketing standpoint. The second you get bored, you swipe. A buddy told me this. When you're editing videos, let's say you're editing long form content or you're editing your reels, the second you get bored where you think you need to cut, like if you're editing a scene or a clip or a frame, the second you get bored, that's when you should cut it, and you just should switch to something else. Because if you're bored, your viewer's going to be bored, and everybody has zero attention span. So the second they get bored, they're swiping, and that's when you should make your cut. So when they want to swipe, there's a cut, something changes, the camera angle changes, the scene changes, an audio puts in, just something to grab their attention, to bring them back in. It's going to keep the viewer retention keep going. That's basically what this video was supposed to be about. And if you have any questions, drop below. This stuff interests me, like the SEO, the keywords, alt metadata, all this stuff that you could put in Instagram that I don't feel like a lot of people utilize or do, but it's something I do because it interests me, and maybe it interests you. And if there's something here that you might have learned, or if you have any questions for me, you could pop them in the comments, and I'm usually pretty good at answering questions. But as far as these two reels go, in my eyes, with my audience size, they're doing pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with them. And that's all that really matters, because I'm making content for me. I'm making content because I love it, but it also freaking helps when the hard work you put in, it kind of pays off a little bit. So that's it. Peace.